they was asking me for years to do it, and I said no, because I was always like, my setup's pretty simple. So you're lot are the first people ever to be on camera, unless there's some sneaky fuckers I don't know about, to sit in the studio with me, because I've always got a bit paranoid in the studio. Maybe that's for other reasons, but what can I play you? After the last tour, so that was what, 2016, it was a very successful, I must say. Just thank you to everyone who made it as special as it was before we talk about anything else. 2017, it has been a bit mad really. It's just not really stopped. Little spouts in America, but really I guess this summer's been all about Ibiza. Playing open to close in Amnesia, the difference is, because I don't know who's there to see me. Most people are buying a ticket to go to Amnesia that night regardless of who's playing. Ibiza is most people's holiday. It's a lot different, the energy picks up a lot quicker. I'm playing a lot more house, just straight house and techno all night, which is cool. So what I try and do is entertain them and entertain myself, which generally it's worked out quite well, to be fair.
I still want to come to your fucking party tonight.
Okay.
Can I send you a list, a couple of names?
A big difference since the tour last year to now, I've been in the studio a lot more, especially of the last couple of months, because I was always known as a producer. Everyone will know that. Well, not everyone actually, because I've got a whole new, it still baffles me that I've got a whole new sort of generation of fans, and as stupid as that sounds, but I was always known as a producer, and where since the genre change, I've been grafting hard at DJing, because you're stepping into another territory and you've got to prove yourself. So that's kind of what I've spent the most of my time doing for the last, I'd say, 3 or 4 years. And I know I can DJ, and I've been constantly trying to impress other people. Not constantly trying to impress other people. It's very much me. I play for me. But you've got to remember you're a small fish in a massive pond, especially when you enter when you're entering a new territory. So I spent so much time on that I realised I hadn't made a record. Now people kept asking me when's the next Skream thing coming out, and I'm like, don't know, and make stupid excuses rather than just go, fucking hell, I just haven't been in the studio. Having a break from production is seeing sort of a change in the way people make music. Everyone's making music as bangers, as they're very not bothered about it being disposable. I'm not doing it. Everything I make I'm making as trying to make as a piece of music and something that I'm not writing for the clubs. There's certain little remixes or edits, but everything I'm writing now is like 10 minutes long. Is isn't really aimed at the dance floor. It's not. I'm not doing it to. I'm not bothered about charting. I'm not bothered about whatever. I'm bothered about writing tracks that will still be here in 4 or 5 minutes. I always write records for myself. That was the exciting that was the exciting thing of dubstep, is the original small crew of us me, so Digital Mystics, I speak about them on a whole, Benga, Distance, Pinch, everybody, we wrote for ourselves, we wrote our own sound to go and, like, we didn't want to sound like anyone else. If you sounded like someone else, it was finished. So in that sense, I've never really tried to make, I tell you the period I tried to make music for other people was towards the end of me wanting to do dubstep, was when I was trying to make records, dubstep records for America. And it was me trying not to be me, and it's impossible for me to not try and be me, because I'm not clever enough to try and act like someone else, or stupid enough to try and act like someone else. And then for that little small period I did, and it was that I was getting paid well and whatnot, and I was rolling with friends, whatever. Like, there was not bad. The only bad point of that time, which I have to point out a lot of the time, because people make out like I make out like it was some horrendous period, and it wasn't. It was great. I fucking loved every minute of it. But personally, I stopped enjoying what I was doing, stopped being able to create music, because I was trying to make music like other people, and I'd never done that, and won't ever try and do it again.
The thing is, at the root of it, the best thing about Oliver is the fact that he fucking hasn't changed at all. It's like, and he's gone through a couple of transitional periods in his DJing and all that. Like, he went from being, you know, the biggest dubstep DJ in the world, pretty much, and he did a very brave thing.
He invented it. Practically, he's one of the founders, five fathers.
He's a co-proprietor of the dubstep genre.
You know, there's not many people, you know, who in the history books will be their name.
But then he got bored of it. He didn't like the direction it was going, and he did something very brave. You know, Ollie's got kids, man, and he's got a fiance, and he's you know what I mean. He's got a mouse to feed, and when you take a decision like that in your career, you know that you need to be ready to take a pay cut, do you know what I mean? And he was like, fuck it, and he did it for the music, which is something I really respect about Oliver. But yeah, I mean,
I think with Ollie as a guy, not on a professional level, he's probably the most consistent, like, in terms of being just one of the best people in the world.
He's a supportive guy.
Absolutely anything for you.
Doesn't look down on anyone.
Nah.
I mean, I remember we played it forward together. He bent over backwards for you.
If Ollie says he'll do something, mark my words, it will be done.
I think the thing about him is that I know pretty much that he's one of those people that you can tell that it's not about the career or whatever it is, he just wants to play music to a crowd. And you can tell that because he'll play for 7 hours and then he'll go to an after party and he'll battle to go and get on the decks and play for another 7 hours or whatever. So his love of doing it is just to play music to people. And if he wasn't getting paid, I know he'd still do it. I know he'd be there. I mean, he would be there, you know, because the passion is to just play music, and nothing will stop him doing that. You know what I mean? He's not one of those people that it's like he's not doing it for anything else other than the fact that he's playing music to make people dance. I truly believe that.
Welcome to Croydon. Just left yard, on my way to Oliver's house to pick him up. At first I found it was quite difficult, because you're sort of in the moment, you're out with all your mates, you're in a nightclub, everyone's drinking, everyone's having a good time, and then you sort of have to sort of pinch yourself and check yourself and say, look, you're working tonight, you're driving tonight, but anyone that knows me generally knows I have a good time whether I'm drunk or not, so I generally you just have to roll with it. Don't get me wrong, there are moments when we're driving home and everyone's drunk in the car and I get abused for 4 hours on the journey. Just one journey coming back from Manchester, and we had our everyone's favourite Salado. Well, not everyone's favourite Salado, but basically Barlow was in the car. And I don't really need to say anything else, do I? Anyone who knows Barlow knows that was a fun car journey. If these wing mirrors could talk. Do you know what, right? I get asked this question all the time. What do you guys listen to when you're on your way to a show? And generally, it's normally like Arctic Monkeys, or if Ollie's sort of done a new mix, we'll listen to the mix, or if Ollie's got new tracks or he's signed new tracks to the label, we'll always go through tracks and sometimes listen to studio stuff, but generally Arctic Monkeys and party tunes. Trying to turn it. This is how I prepare for every night out. Relieve the tension. Oliver's family are like my sort of family. As I said, I've known his parents since I was 16, and obviously I'm now 36. And yeah, even when we're not working, we're still always together. Like, say for instance, we haven't got a show, and we'll always, like, I'll message him or he'll message me, and we'll go to the cafe and we'll just talk. We don't really generally talk. We do talk about music, but yeah, it's just everyday stuff, like life. Well, yeah, like, well, I left school at 16 and started working in a factory, and the similar sort of time I started working there, Ollie's brother started. So we were both the new boys. So befriended Jack, hi Jack, and he was the DJ at the time. And then just always were going around to the house, and then I met Ollie. He was 12 years old the first time I met him, and actually the first time I ever met Ollie, I've walked into the parents' house and he was stood at the top of the stairs in just a pair of pants. I'll never forget it. And he was like, all right, that's my younger brother Ollie. I was like, all right, mate. And then worked with Jack for a few years, sort of always stayed in contact, but then Jack sort of blew up with the music when Ollie blew up, and yeah, and then sort of was always sort of friends and would go out to shows and stuff, and then, yeah, and then here we are. I'm with him every day of the week, and like Oliver's son Jesse, like I have the best relationship ever with his son Jesse. Like I've been there since he was born, and now he's what, 6 years old, and he's just, yeah. So yeah, it's just brilliant. I'm part of the family, not just. Well, that's the other thing, because Ollie always hates it when I refer to this as a job, because he always says, Dave, you don't work for me. I'm not your boss. You're my best fucking mate, and we're just having fun together. So that's nice to hear that when your best mate, boss, or whatever says that, yeah, don't refer to me like that, we're pals. So it's not really like a work relationship. Obviously we have our moments, like I'm human, I make mistakes, and we have missed flights and missed certain things because I've done things, and yeah, vice versa. Like, so it's sort of, but yeah, we're best mates, and yeah, I've sort of grown up more in the last sort of 6 years than I think I ever have.
Welcome to the motorway with Oliver Jones. So basically this evening we're on the path from Croydon to Brighton, and we're going to show you the best dogging spots in the UK. So stay tuned. Maybe not so many people know it now. Arthur was a mentor for me and Benga. He's done a lot for us. Not just as he built us to be in this industry.
We met, he used to come into Big Apple Records because his brother used to work in the drum and bass floor, and so Ollie would be around, and he was sort of like, he came in, and I think he worked at Apple Records once for a short spell of time, but he was so bad at keeping time and getting there and actually turning up that he got the sack. But he still hung around, didn't put him off. And he would come in, and him and Benga would be making tunes, because they made friends, and they would be making tunes on the PlayStation and bringing them in. And we sort of like, at first they were crap, and they'd bring their little mini disc players in and plug them in and say, can I play some tunes on? And so they'd play the tunes on the sound system in the record shop, and at first it was like, God's sake, okay, enough, turn it off. But after 6 months or something, we'd put it on and people were saying, I'll have one of these. And all of a sudden we were looking like, yeah, they're actually making some good shit now. And so we signed them. And we signed Oliver and Benny to Big Apple. And they started making records, and the rest is history. I've watched him grow up. I've watched him come in school uniform to our record shop, to this. So I've seen the whole thing, do you know what I mean? So it's just incredible. And he will go on and on and on. And that's the thing, he's not built like anyone else. Like physically, there's something amiss there, do you know what I mean? Like you can't do what he does. No one can. They'd be dead within a week. Yeah, something odd about him. That's how he'll keep going. You know, I think if there's a nuclear war, there'll be two things left: it's cockroaches and Oliver Jones.
Listen, my son is my son, right? My dad is my dad. My dad's a ledge, my mum's a ledge. Everyone in the family's a ledge, right? Apart from me. Right, but can we just get this? So my 6-year-old son, yeah, he talks about his best friend, Faith, at school. So she just sent me a note, screenshot with Mrs. Yeah? Dear Faith, so my son's Jesse, because Faith is his best friend, yeah? Will you marry me? If you don't, I won't be your friend. If you do marry me, I can kiss you. Yo, listen. I am not saying nothing, right? Hold tight the crew. No, man. It weren't far off, man. It weren't far off. I look quite fresh, don't I? Chloe's going to be here at 8:17.
Right, when we get in the room, I'll bring Andy.
Oh, fuck it, I'm well happy, mate.
Good from her, that.
The missus is coming, we're gonna have some fun. I think we're about to play the biggest show of the year. Well, I'm pretty sure it's the biggest. 700 people on the ticket waiting list. I'm playing for 9 hours in a basement to about 800 people. Jamie Jones is upstairs. Shout out to the Portal, like, it's gonna be fucking fun, mate.
That's a school day and a half, 9 hours.
That's how I was trying to explain to my son. I was like, look, you see when you wake up, Daddy gets you ready, and then you go to school, come home, and then go to bed. I'm like, so Daddy's the DJ that whole time. He was like, say what? He didn't say what, but I'd like to think he went, say what? I'm well buzzed as you coming. I'm well buzzed as you coming. Anyone who knows us, we can like love each other's company, mate. We don't argue, like we bicker. Everyone bickers, especially when you're travelling together a lot all the time. But it's just one of these, we just genuinely love each other's company. We're more or less the same person. Like I was in a previous relationship, you know, like for 10 years, and you're on the road, and you end up living two separate lives. You actually do, and you end up becoming two completely different people without knowing it. You're away, especially at the time. I turned into a bit of a cunt, you know what I mean? And not a bit of a cunt. You become very unaware of everybody else, and you just end up living a separate life. And like Chloe had 2 jobs when we got together, so I asked her. I just said, look, how would you feel about not working? Obviously, she was like, actually, she weren't overly set on the idea, but I explained obviously and was just like, look, I can't. People do it, But there's also a lot of people don't do it. There's a lot of people I don't even know I've got missuses. Don't message them, talk about them, whatever. And
This has got to be the moment, isn't it?
yeah, we're getting married in Bali. Bali, getting away basically. To everyone who watches this, when you wonder why you haven't got invites, because there's too many of you. And it just becomes an absolute pain in the arse from because even the conversation of it popping up to people, they're like, oh yeah. Like people hardly know. Go, oh, can I come? Can I come? And you're just like, it's a fucking fortune, do you know what I mean? Jesse Jones. Yeah, mate, he's fucking blinding. He's at that age, like, he's 6. So he's at school now, he's spending a lot of time with other kids. I think he's starting to get it a bit. He said to his mate the other day at the dinner table, it made me really embarrassed actually. He said to his little mate, my daddy's famous, but he said it quietly for me not to hear. And I was like, just don't say that. He's like, but you are. And I don't really think he gets it. I send him videos and he's like, wow. But he always says, when I want to come out and watch you work. So, but I still don't think it fully gets it. But you see my picture. There's a big mural with me and Croydon. So he got that, but I don't think he thinks it's just a drawing, I guess. I don't think he really gets the significance of it, but he will, obviously. If he's telling his mate I'm famous now, when I'm not really, I don't really particularly cast myself as famous. I look at like celebrities as famous. I don't really see myself as that. I'm just sort of a punter.
Planet shaking. Our inventions are legends. There's nought we can't make. And so we make brilliant music. We make brilliant bands. We make goals that make souls leap from seats in the stands. And we make things from steel. We make things from cotton. We make people laugh, take that, make someone rotten. And we make you at home. We make you feel welcome. We make something happen. We can't seem to help it. And if you're looking for history, then yes, we've a wealth. The Manchester way is to make it yourself. And make us a record, and you number one, and make us a bring while you're above. Go on and make us feel proud that you're winning the league, and make us sing louder, and make us believing that this is the place that has helped shape the world, and that this is a place where a Manchester girl named Emmeline Pankhurst from the streets of Moss Side.
The label of Unsound Mind is, I love it, it's going so well. Like, it's the feedback, I read the feedback sheets for every release, just off almost a way of keeping my mind sound, ironically. It's just going mad because each release, it's not particularly what everybody wants who's buying tunes, hence why they haven't been. Look, we've had the Eli Brown tracks have gone big on Beatport and the Solado releases. But look, fucking of Unsound Mind, Billy Turner. I'm both proudest I am of finding, I guess. I don't want to say find because he was doing his thing anyway, but exposing. And he's releasing with Denson Pico. He just opened for Luke Slater, then closed Fabric back to back of Eats. Billy has got the most fucking unbelievable introduction story ever. Billy snuck into the DJ booth and said, yeah, Skream's my mate. I just want to quickly say hello.
Had you met by then?
Nah, never met each other in fucking life.
I tried to keep him out.
Did we think of it? Give me a USB key.
No, I got your email from him.
Got me email from him. See?
But
that's what I'm saying.
Kids pest you.
That's what Unsound Mind's all about.
that like changed everything.
main thing with Unsound Mind is I just want it to be family. I wouldn't take a record off a big name just to have it on the label. And I'm just happy with where it's at, because we got some unbelievable stuff. Kincaid and Sonale are just fucking next level. We got the new thing from Bertie, a new release from James Burton coming, which has been one of the smashes by Ibiza. We got an unbelievable release from Melody's Enemy.
Oh, really?
I'm Grey Goose Wanker officially.
Bottle Club.
Right, so that's been fucking wild, mate.
Young James Burton here, we've both released on the label, and I mean, Ollie's been one of the people that he's taken us on. Like, I met Ollie in Ibiza, so I met Ibiza Rocks, and I sent him some tracks and he took them on. If I hadn't had that, then I wouldn't be where I was today, I'd be honest.
When I first met Ollie, I wasn't even DJing
exactly.
or fucking making music. Do you know what I mean? He was one of the inspirations that got me into the show game. Meeting him and fucking seeing what he was doing, seeing how he was doing it, and just thinking, fucking I fancy a bit of this, I'll go that. So do you know what I mean? And it was people like him, yeah, you know what I mean? Just seeing lads who you can relate to, people who are your friends, they're on the same wavelength, but they're actually fucking doing it, you know what I mean? They're smashing it at the same time, and I'm just thinking, yeah, he's proper, he's real, and
that's because he's down to earth, isn't he? You meet a lot of DJs out there that like they get up their own asses and that, but like he's proper.
And the thing is, he's been at it that long as well, and like, you know, when we realise that he's only 31, and it's like, as we say, he's the person that just brings all his mates together to Ibiza. Anywhere we go, like, we're all here now. We're in Sheffield,
exactly, some kitchen somewhere in the world.
I've came from
gather in a kitchen somewhere.
I've came from Scotland. He's came from Dublin. He's came from where are you from?
Darlington. Darlington.
Child of the world.
We come there because we want to see the troops. We want to hang about with them because he brings everyone together.
It's gone from something, I never started it, the label, for any other reason, and not a lot of people get a break. And if I can use my name to do anything to help someone out, I will. And you can ask anybody in any industry, they know I've been down for it. So I like being able to give someone a helping hand, and that's kind of what the label's all about.
I'll tell you right now who's going to cause the most trouble at his wedding, and it's his fucking wife. Chloe is going to cause the most trouble at the wedding, I know that for a fact.
The worst behaved at the wedding? Do you know what? I think he'll be sensible. I think he's got to be sensible. No, he's not going to be sensible, is he?
amongst the guests.
Amongst the guests? Oh, I don't know. I think everyone will be very well behaved. No, they're not. It's going to be a fucking car crash. But I think that would be great. I mean, I hope it'll be great.